Welcome back, Luminary, to another episode of the Savvy Luminary. Today, I'll be sharing the January highlights. I know, yes, we're already a week in, but I couldn't fit it anywhere else in our podcasting schedule. And then our week's forecast, our Business StarCast coming up for the week of January 9th through the 15th. Wow, we're already there, January 9th. Awesome. All right, here we go. Welcome to the Savvy Luminary Podcast, Astrology for Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Leslie Tagorda, creator of the AstroBrand method, business astrologer, brand designer, author, and Aquarius boss woman. I help visionary spiritual entrepreneurs and impact makers like you illuminate and amplify your unique star powers so you can be the luminary you were born to be. Oh, Luminary, thank you for listening in again as we are stretching into the beginning of the year. I hope that you have been kind to yourself this first week and not already piling on the pressure of all of the things that we need to do. I know in the Savvy Luminary Facebook group, I was posting this question on Friday. I'm actually recording this on Friday, January 7th. And I posted a question on Friday because on Fridays, I like to take a look back to reflect and to appreciate and to give gratitude, right? That's the Venus energy. Venus is about attraction, about appreciation, about beauty. And so I was posed a question in the Savvy Luminary about, hey, what do you appreciate about something that you've done in a new way this first week of January? Because yes, we have our goals and our intentions, and you're probably sick and tired about hearing about goals and intentions. And I know I am, but it's more about what is this kind of energy that we want to amplify, that we want to duplicate so that we don't kind of fall back into those old past patterns of scarcity and pressure and fear and hustle, right? Like we are just done with that. And so as we stretch into the new year, asking this question about how did you give yourself space? I really want you to tap into that because, some people were asking about, well, it's Friday and I feel like I want to take the day off, but is it okay for me to enjoy my day, even though I have things to work on? And my answer to that was really, well, I have a sense you already know what you want to do. And how can you give yourself permission to do what you want to do? Personally, for me, and even with Jeff and Crystal and my team, like Crystal's not even back to work yet, and yeah, we have work for her, but you know what? She needs to take that time off, so I'm granting that to her. Jeff was asking me permission if he could take the rest of the afternoon off, and I was like, yes, of course. Please don't ask. Just do what you need to do. And this first week with like in Canada, going back in lockdowns and just kind of all of the uncertainties and different colds and flus and COVID and all these things, like how are we granting ourselves that spaciousness? Earlier in the week, I had a full week packed of AstroBrand sessions. And when I say a full week packed of AstroBrand sessions, I know my energy. And this year, we're really creating like solid foundational systems. So I know that my capacity every week is that I can give a total of 7 AstroBrand sessions a week, 3 on Tuesdays, 3 on Thursdays, and 1 on Wednesdays. That's it. And so, yes, I have this capacity, and I know that this capacity is directly tied into my income. But I had a client say, we got online to our session, and she just was not looking well. And she admitted that she wasn't feeling very well, but she didn't want to waste my time and that she really wanted to take the session. And I was so grateful to her for thinking of me and not wanting to waste my time. And I was like, well, this is your time. What can we do that's going to support you? And if you're not feeling well, how are you going to be open to receiving the download and the wisdom that comes through our AstroBrand sessions? And so, we signed off, and later she sent me this note of gratitude, saying that she really appreciated the flexibility and understanding and spaciousness. But if there's anything that we have learned in 2020, 2020, 2021, and now like extending into 2022 is that we need to grant ourselves the spaciousness. And I know that that's really, really hard. So coming back to like just my work week, and I have tons of things to do. I have tons of reports to do. I have like all these things to do, but I granted myself spaciousness this week. And I said, well, if I can like manage to check off 3 things in my to-do list, then that was more than enough. And so, come around 3:30, I did my 3 things, even though there's way more things to do. That was enough. And I turned off my computer. I put some Netflix on guilt-free and just kind of just enjoyed the space to do nothing while my son is gratefully at school. And so this is the energy that I want to build into the rest of the year. And I'm practicing this energy. This energy takes practice because we're not going to be able to cultivate it like perfectly each and every time. And this energy takes a belief system, a trust, a belief that we're worthy enough, a belief that, hey, we can grant ourselves spaciousness and still be impactful, still be successful, still earn the money to not just survive, but thrive. And so curious for you this week, your first full work week of 2022, how are you cultivating that? And if you haven't yet cultivated that, what do you need to start believing, right? That last episode that I dropped on Wednesday about that Capricorn energy and like creating a new foundation around a mantra and your belief system. This mantra is supposed to be expansive. This mantra is supposed to, you come back to it when you're feeling that pressure in your body of like having to hustle and having to overdo and having to over, right? Like we all get into that place. But how do we snap out of that place much more quickly? It takes observation. It takes knowing our body and listening and trusting in our body when our body is saying, hey, this is just too much. And so when our body is saying too much, if we can take a clearing breath or shake it out or whatever you do to kind of like calibrate your body to kind of just this equilibrium again, coming back to your centering thought, that mantra that you have for the year. That last podcast episode, I shared that my word for the year is regenerative, because regeneration is that process of resting and restoring and growing back. That, the patriarchy and like colonial ways have taught us that, hey, there's like scarcity, right? Like everything that we have built our businesses on up to like now is based on this idea that there is not enough. Right? And that's the old way of thinking. There is more than enough. So giving yourself permission to create that spaciousness, coming back to your one word for me, regeneration. And then for me, if I have to go through again and really remind myself what regeneration means to me, that is where my longer mantra comes in, that the more I regenerate, the more impactful I will be. And so be it. So, one of the things that I really noticed with this week of AstroBrand sessions, it's just been, it's really hard to put to words how grateful, how in awe, just the people that have been coming into my circles lately, they are just so attuned and so alive. Whether we have, beginning entrepreneurs who are just at that very stepping stone stage of their businesses to fully experienced, successful entrepreneurs who are going through major shifts, the people that are coming to me, they're kind of like 2 big themes that I really, really see that are coming through in 2022. And so I want you to get kind of curious, like, where do you fall with these 2 themes, these 2 different these suggestions, this advice that I keep on reverberating, that keep on echoing through me, through all of the people that I've been serving. Astrology is so interesting because you get these echoes of patterns. And maybe this is coming from me, maybe this is coming from them, that maybe this is coming from spirit, wherever it's coming from, it's freaking working. Okay. So if you find yourself, maybe you're a beginning entrepreneur, or you're just getting started, or you're just thinking about beginning your business, one of the things that I constantly hear from some business owners in this kind of phase of their business is that they don't believe that they know how to run a business or that they know how to be successful. Like they are missing some sort of piece in being able to run their business just because they're new. And what I want to kind of reframe is that you already know. Okay. Now, again, scarcity mindset and like maybe online gurus of the present or the past are teaching us that there's like one way, that you need to have this one thing in order to be successful, or that the top CEOs of small businesses or mid-sized businesses or large businesses, they do this one thing and that you have to do this one thing in order to be successful or see yourself as the expert or the authority. There isn't just one way. If astrology shows us anything, is that there are many, many ways, and that we each have our own unique blueprint, our own one way that can also, well, it's not even our own one way, our way of least resistance with highest flow that there are many different interpretations of. So earlier I was talking to two different clients with the same belief system, but they didn't know enough yet to run their business because they lack the experience of running their business. And they both felt like that they were just like playing business owner. Maybe you relate to this. And what I was telling these clients was that, hey, there isn't just one way. There is your way. And what is your way? Yes, every business needs a foundation. We need to know what our vision is, like what we're doing and what our values are and how we want to show up in the world. I call that our identity. And then, of course, we need a community, right? Some people might be calling this your email list or your followers or your groups. And whatever way you decide to build community, whatever works best for you that you enjoy the most, you can build a community however you want to build a community. Now, remember, yes, social media, if you're doing well in social media, remember, you got to get those social media followers onto your own email address or onto your own email list, because those social media followers, they are not owned by you. They are technically owned by whatever platform you are using. So having a way to, if you're focusing on social media, having a way to then get those users off of social media and also onto your email list. I digress, but figuring out how you can create and cultivate your community, because ultimately you need your community to be able to offer your services and offer your value. So number one, knowing your identity, which really means I know what I do, I know why I do, I have a vision, and I know where I want to go, right? That is your identity, how you show up in the world. Then the community that you want to be reciprocal with, that you want to serve, that you want to collaborate and co-create with. So having a community is the number two kind of foundational need of your business. Number three, of course, you need a solid offer that shares value. That is something that other people want, that you can demonstrate the results of. Okay. And then the fourth thing that you need, and this gets a little bit more complicated, are the systems that uphold where you are in your business right now, right? There's lots of different types of systems. We have our operational systems that, have our business do different things with that are easily replicable, that, help you strategize so you're not like doing every single thing and reinventing the wheel all the time. Then you have your organizational systems that help you keep you on track, that help you prioritize not only your schedule and not only your projects, but also maybe prioritizing the people that serve you or that are your employees or your team, so that there is always kind of like a flow of energy and communications, right? But these systems, now you don't need all of the systems, and we don't have to prioritize all the systems all at once. It really depends on coming back to your identity and your vision. What is that one thing that you have to work on now? Okay. So when we're looking at our businesses, and when you're like asking yourself, well, I don't feel like a business person, wherever you are right now, you need to get really clear on like, what is your identity right now? How are you going to be building a community? What is your offer? Ooh, and the systems, I failed to mention this offer is part of the system that is the most important part of the system is how are you sharing your value? And so in the business linguistic terms, that would be your marketing and your sales, right? So we're looking at these 4 different pieces. And, sometimes a certain piece is going to have more priority than the others, but you can see with these 4 different pieces, your identity, like that's like your website and your brand and everything like that, your community, like how are you gathering people so that you have somebody to contribute to, your one offer that delivers value, and then that 4th piece, how you are sharing your offer with then, of course, underneath sharing your offer and sharing your value. And underneath that are the systems that run these different things. Okay. So it's maybe even what I'm sharing with you is already overwhelming, but I want you to know is if you have these 4 things in place, you have the freedom to do whatever you want in this identity. Now, like even me as a brand designer and a web designer, I am not someone who's going to tell you, you need a website and you need a really good looking brand in order to be a successful business owner. For some people, like if you have lots of strong Venus or a Libra rising or Venus on the ascendant or the midheaven, then yes, that is the case for you. And so astrology can actually point us out to like, hey, what really does need to take precedent in the way that we are most effective and the way that we are most in flow with delivering on our purpose and mission through our businesses. Okay, so that's for like that group 1. Already believing that you are a business person and that you already know what needs to be done, no matter where you are in your experience level. Now, part 2, for all of my wonderful clients that I have given AstroBrand sessions for who are already reached a level of success, that they are ready to shift, that they are ready to move forward, that they're ready to like trust in themselves in this really like deep and authentic way, to not have to work so hard, to be able to accomplish their goals with even more ease. It comes down to trust. Not only does it come down to trust for them and trust in themselves, although they've done so much. And I'm going to do another podcast episode about this trust and the deep inner healing that we end up doing when we're ready to next up level. That's a whole nother topic I could talk hours about. But what's really coming through for if you fall in this category of like, okay, I have this established business, I've been doing things a certain way, but I want to reach that next level. And if you're a listener here, I already know that you have a spiritual bent to yourself, that you use tools of spirituality, whether it's a tarot card or oracle deck or crystals or astrology, or, what are your spirit guides, whatever your tools are. But now seeing spirit, I want to call it spirit with a capital S, the metaphysical energies that support us in this co-creative process. I want you to start to see that spirit is not just for our personal lives or our spiritual lives, but spirit is here to support us in our work. That spirit wants to be recognized as a strategic tool in our decision-making process. Our intuition, our instincts, whatever you call it, figuring out how to not override your intuition, and learning how to really trust and to call in spirit, to call in your well ancestors to help you strategize. Now, this is something that I talk about all the time. Yes, I do this with my new moon rituals. I've already shared with you many times how I cultivate and create energetic sessions for when I'm even setting an intention before I record podcasts. But using these spiritual tools as strategic tools in your business. And I hear myself seeing this and repeating these concepts over and over. So I want to offer that to you. I want to invite you to, number one, already know that you know how to run your business, that you are the authority of your business, that as long as you have those 4 big components, that you have freedom to do however you want to do in your business to succeed where you are at this moment in time in your journey. And then number 2, to decide that your intuition and spirit isn't just something to play with on the side, but it is part of your decision-making team. It's like partnering with your spirit as CEO or COO or whatever you want to designate them in, as a collaborative, co-creative partner in your business and work. Okay, so that's my sermon for today. I didn't mean to preach, but I have a sense that you might have found this a little bit helpful. So let's dive into the January highlights, even though we're well over a week into January, because I just didn't get a chance to go through all of that. And then I'm going to update you on the astrology that we have coming over this week. There's, the astrology has been gratefully a little quiet. Yes, I could be tracking all of the moon phases and all of that, but then I just don't want to overwhelm you. You are already living it. So I want to give you like kind of the big highlights and kind of shake things up and make things easier on me and easier on you in 2022. So let's get into the January 2022 overview. Oh, before we go into that, I forgot. I have a book update for you. So remember in the last episode, I was sharing with you just kind of the folly and the terrible customer service of Ingram Sparks, and just even like just following up, they never apologized for anything and they just completely lost a customer. So Natalie and I have been going back and forth whether or not to actually bring the print version of New and Full Moon Rituals for Entrepreneurs and Change Makers. We were both really longing for a physical book because, I mean, quite honestly, I love physical books. And who is going to cozy up with a PDF? I'm not cozying up with a PDF when I'm, doing my evening reading. And so we looked for different book publishers and we decided to go with the biggest box, but it was just the easiest and effortless way to get this book out there. So we are now self-publishing with Amazon. And by the time you listen to this episode, New and Full Moon Rituals for Entrepreneurs and Changemakers will be available on Amazon to purchase a Kindle version or to purchase the physical paperback version. I don't yet have a link, but if you head on to Amazon, you will see it. Happy endings, right? Now, even though we've already had our first lunation, our first new moon of the year, we have 13 new moons in 2022. So we have 12 more new moons and 12 more full moons. So we still have 24 whole lunations and tons of insight about working with new and full moons conscientiously, mindfully, and with awareness in your business for co-creation. I'm so freaking excited, and I hope you are as excited about me. So grab that book. If that second theme about working with spirit as a strategic tool in your business, really perked up your ears, then this book is for you, because the moon phases is our ultimate natural co-creator. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into the January 22 overview. So the overview, the theme that I've picked for January of 2022 is rededicate to your mission. And why I'm saying rededicate is because the idea of is that we need to redo and reevaluate and reassess, because so many things have changed. And then we also have our Venus and Mercury retrogrades both in this month. So there is a lot of reassessment, a lot of refinement and re-understanding or rethinking, re-evaluating. So there's a lot of redo energy. So for those of us who haven't really felt like, okay, let's dive in and just go, there is a reason for that. So this new year, and still, yes, in this middle point of January, it's time to decide on what you will dedicate yourself to over the next 12 months. Will you keep going at what you loved last year and innovate your approach? Or might you change course and spark new inspiration? Whatever you choose, the choices that you make this month create your future. With 2022, just the dawn of 2022 peeking over the horizon, the light is just beginning to shine. Your vision is now getting clearer of what you want to bring in according to your new reassessed values, thanks to Venus retrograde. 2021 was just too much. You've left so much behind, so you can make space for your new values that include self-love, emotional well-being, health, rest, intuition, and trust. Now you choose. You choose your revised mission. You commit to living up to these revised mission, your revision with responsibility. You dedicate yourself to this mission, but not by overworking. You dedicate yourself by first believing that you are worthy to receive with ease and flow, by trusting in your intuition, in your heart, in your soul that you already know. You believe that you can work without trying too hard, with just the right amount of effort and the right amount of restoration. So you've seen this internet meme many times. She believed she could, so she did. I have no idea where this started from. I couldn't find the source. But really, if you don't have a mantra or a word or a seed of the year to give yourself a fresh slate already, this is your mantra. I believed I could, so I did. I believed I could, so I did. With the energy, right, of possibility, just please, please, please do not get stuck in the details of any specific intentions or goals at this time. Simply expand yourself into what is possible. What is possible for you in your life and your business when you believe? To believe is the first step before dedicating yourself to your mission. What do you need to believe in yourself and your mission? In this first month of 2022, your seeds stretch out of the darkness of the soil and reach for the sun. The seedling doesn't work hard to reach up. It doesn't strive. It doesn't try. It believes the sun is there. It feels its warmth. It hears its call. It believes it's time to grow, so it does, with ease and flow. As you look across the horizon, desiring to see what's ahead in 2022, how will you decide to grow? What new belief in yourself will be that warmth of the sun calling your mission forward with ease and flow? I believe this is your time to work with ease and impact in harmony with the cosmos and in active participation with the communities you build with your business. I believe your work as an entrepreneur and change maker is important and part of your spiritual journey as you step into your worthiness, your trust in your own expertise, and your leadership. It's time to dedicate yourself to you. So this month we have Mercury entering Aquarius. That happened back on January 1st, and Mercury won't be in Aquarius for that long because Mercury is going to go retrograde on January 14th. That's coming up this coming week. I'll be dropping a podcast on Wednesday all about Mercury retrograde in Aquarius. More on that in a little bit. We have our Uranus retrograde ending at Taurus of 10 degrees on January 18th. Then we have a big shift with the nodes, the lunar nodes, always traveling in retrograde, leaving the Gemini Sagittarius axes and traveling into the Taurus Scorpio axes. This also happens on January 18th. So the nodes, the lunar nodes, the north node will be in Taurus. And then you notice also on that January 18th, I'd mark that date on your calendar. There's a big shift of energy happening there because Uranus Uranus retrograde ending at Taurus of 10 degrees, and then the North Node entering Taurus at, what is that, Taurus of 29 degrees, both on January 18th. That North Node, our collective stretch potential, where our collective soul and consciousness wants to go, is going to be playing with Uranus and Taurus for most of the year, and that's really exciting. So on the 19th, Sun enters Aquarius, where we won't be so hard on ourselves anymore. We'll start thinking about the future. January 24th, we have Mars leaving Aquarius and entering Capricorn. And then we have Mercury in its retrograde motion joining in with Capricorn in January 25th. We'll have a little bit of that Mercury and Mars play, and also Venus. There's more Capricorn pileups happening. And then, of course, we have our Venus retrograde ending at the end of the month on January 29th. We already had, for our lunations, we already had our first new moon in Capricorn of 12 degrees. That was way back on January 2nd, way back a week ago. And then we have our full moon in Cancer coming up on January 17th. Remember, Natalie Miller and my new book has a full moon ritual in it. And then we have our new moon in Aquarius that happens on the very last day of January, depending on where you live, or February 1st, again, depending on where you live. All right, so those are like the big highlights of 2022. If you had purchased my 2022 in the stars, thank you. You already have your PDF calendar and your digital calendar, so you can take this with you wherever you go and get those themes well ahead of time so that you can strategically plan with the cosmos. Okay, let's take a little, let's hone in, zoom in a little bit and look at the details of the Biz StarCast for January 9th through the 15th. Our first quarter moon, our second quarter moon, I call it second quarter moon, at Aries of 19 degrees. We'll be trining with Mars at 19 degrees of Sagittarius. So we have a lot of fire, which is what we need when we have a second quarter moon, because second quarter moon, right, is really about, you already know that that second quarter moon is an action time. For the next week, while the second quarter moon is essentially in phase, it is a time of taking action and growing. So taking forward momentum, creating, doing, not so much planning. That would have been more in your first quarter phase. It's time now to take action. And gratefully, with this moon trine Mars, your physical energy will be ripe for you to take meaningful action this week. Well, we also have a Mercury Saturn that is getting closer in conjunction, Mercury being our understanding, Saturn being our ability to focus and create containers. It will be squaring off with Uranus at that same time. And so really what I would like to offer you with taking action is to really focus on one thing at a time. Now you might be saying, okay, well, how do I choose what that one thing is? Well, number one, you can ask your intuition. Your intuition will always lead you in the right direction if you honor her with trust and really learn how to listen to her through your body, through your soul, through your inner knowing. And so if there's anything to offer, you have lots of energy, but let's rein it in so it doesn't get like too scattered, so that you can really focus on one thing at a time. Now, if you're like, I don't yet have the tools to really talk to my intuition in that way, then really look at your values. Venus is still in retrograde. Venus is still saying, hey, like things have shifted, and how are my new values really like focusing in with the work that I'm doing? So let that be your guide. On Mars Day, Tuesday, January 11th, Mars in Sagittarius at 20 degrees will be squaring off with Neptune in Pisces at 20 degrees. Whew. This will be a very interesting mix with this square off in mutable signs of fiery Mars in fiery Sagittarius with watery Neptune in watery Pisces. So I feel a lot of steam blowing off with this aspect. This happens at exactly 1:43 p.m. Pacific, 4:34 p.m. Eastern, but really you're likely already having felt this kind of steam needing to be blown off for a few days now. Now, when I say steam blowing off, it doesn't necessarily have to be anger. It could feel like a sauna where you go to the sauna to relax, but where vitality happens. So the theme that I've created for Mars square Neptune on this Mars day is magical creative vitality. For a few days leading up to and away, you're going to feel a gentle power bubbling forth. Usually when Mars and Neptune meet, we channel our physical energy, that's Mars, into devotional and imaginative, that's Neptune, outlets. Move your body gently to integrate the inner heat and confidence. If you can, maybe hop into a sauna or a spa and create some steam, or maybe do a steam facial to get some clarity as you are, looking at the tea or whatever you put in your steam facials. On this Mars day, it's a wonderful day to get moving on your to-do list. Right, we're still in that second quarter moon phase, especially on those big projects where you require lots of visioning and big dreaming. This will be especially activating for our mutable sign luminaries, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. On the 14th, we have Mercury retrograde beginning at Aquarius of 10 degrees. I'll be popping an entire episode on the 12th, on Wednesday the 12th, all about this Mercury retrograde in Aquarius. It's going to end up back in Capricorn. So if you have a question about this upcoming Mercury retrograde, I've started a conversation in my free Facebook group, The Savvy Luminary. I've pinned the post that asks the question about what do you want to know about this upcoming, our first of 4 Mercury retrogrades of 2022. Head on over to the Facebook group, The Savvy Luminary, and pop in your questions, and I'll be more than delighted to answer it for you in Wednesday's podcast episode. But for now, Mercury retrograde begins on January 14th, 3:41 a.m. Pacific, 6:41 a.m. Eastern. You're likely going to feel kind of the glitches of technology and communications probably already starting on January 13th as like Mercury comes to a complete crawl. So this theme of Mercury and Aquarius, which I'll be expanding on, is rethinking social impact. As Mercury stops at this one point of Aquarius at 10 degrees, stalling there, be ready for all kinds of tech glitches, especially as both Mercury and Aquarius have to do with high tech. Remember, you do not need to fear this cycle if you learn to work and prepare with the energy of resetting, redoing, rethinking, and reorganizing. This is the Mercury retrograde cycle where you get to rethink what kind of innovations you need in your work to be able to focus on your expertise. You are seeing how your work is making a difference in your world and how your work can further reverberate in harmony in your larger communities. You'll reconsider how your past innovations have now created silver linings of opportunities. Look at the area of your chart between Aquarius of 10 degrees and Capricorn of 24 degrees, as this is the area of your chart that is currently being highlighted. So right now we're in the shadow zone. So we're currently going through that first pass. We have 2 more passes. And if you have any planets or angles, so rising, descendant, Imam Coli, and midheaven, these angles, if this is the area of your chart, they will want to chime in on this retrograde cycle. And also, if you have big Saturn energy, Aquarius or Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or Saturn on your angles, again, midheaven, descendant, rising, descendant, midheaven, and Imam Coli, you will see how you need to focus in your efforts to maximize your impact. So again, a full episode on that coming up on Wednesday. All right, luminaries. I thought this was going to be a short episode, but it was not. But regardless, I hope that it will serve you in the way that you are ready to receive. And as we are offering out our love and our flexibility, if you want to share some love with me, please share this episode with your business bestie. Please share this on your social media accounts. And the greatest thing that you can do for me is to leave a review on Apple Podcasts so that more people like you can listen and choose to work with the cosmos. All right, everyone. See you soon. If you love this podcast, please consider doing me a favor and heading over to Apple iTunes and leaving me a rating and review. Your rating and review helps this humble podcast get seen and found by more listeners like you. Please share the love.